What's old, they say, is new again, and nothing is so frequently new again as horror, containing more reboots than an online shoe repair site with a dodgy netcode. And that's not counting the sequels, prequels, and whatever the happening was.
Nothing happened.
Even as we speak, all of our favourite beasties are on the horizon. Slashy Hand, Silent but Stabby, and Dumpy McMumblebuzz are all getting resurrected for the silver screen once more. But there are many more monsters, beasties, and stalkers of the night which time has simply forgotten. Luckily for us, some horror-focused studios and an apparent drought of fresh ideas from screenwriters mean that these two will possibly, maybe, conceivably see the light of day. So with that in mind, I'm Jules from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 horror film remakes you didn't know were in the works. No promises regarding how they're gonna turn out though. Number 10. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. The most recently announced remake on our slate is the classic Universal monster feature, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Jeff Pinker of Amazing Spider-Man 2 writer fame has reportedly been hired by Universal to pen the script, and Avengers star Scarlett Johansson is in talks to take the lead. No, not the monster, the other lead. The original film's story, if you're not familiar, saw researchers deep in the Amazon jungle stumble across a half-man, half-fish creature that came from, spoiler alert, the Black Lagoon. Naturally, the creature develops a crush on one of the female members of the team, and fish-fingered fear ensues, as well as giving rise to an all-new subsection of erotic fanfiction involving Black Widow and marine life. Disgusting, but we're also strangely interested. Number 9. It. Tim Curry as a murderous clown. I've given you the best summary of why you should have seen the original film.
Oh, come on, bucko. Don't you want a balloon?
New Line is behind this corpse-filled clown caper, but is making the strange decision to split it in two. I mean, I know you're meant to be guessing as to whether the monster is still alive at the end of many horror films, but if I've got another 2 to 3 hour film to sit through, then chances are, yes. True Detective Maestro Cary Fukunaga was tapped to direct, but has since dropped out of the project. Oh dears. Still, Bill Skarsgård and his eyebrows are set to star as monstrous clown Pennywise, and providing he has a laugh as maniacal as Tim Curry's, he'll be a good choice to fill those oversized shoes. Number 8. Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is the worst of George A. Romero's original trilogy. No, put down your machetes and your cans of Lynx body spray, it is. A surprisingly campy story in which a scientist attempts to train a zombie into remembering its humanity. It had some good scares, but was altogether laughable, and also has pacing akin to rigor mortis. Therefore, it's surprising to see Christina Campbell and Lati Grobman take on the mantle of a remake, and even more so seeing as they want to keep the story as close to the original as possible. This is one of the very few times that I would suggest an attempt at updating. I mean, look at how Dawn of the Dead was remade, and how in many cases it bettered the original. All I'm saying is that if I want to see a mopey zombie, then I'd watch Warm Bodies again, and I don't want to watch Warm Bodies again. Number 7. The Craft. We need more sexy witch films! Thus was the cry of many a beta male upon the realization that it's almost been 20 years since The Craft hit cinema screens. The cult haha jokes classic Witches at High School teen horror remake was announced in May last year, to be produced by Sony Pictures. The studio has tapped Lee Janiak to write and direct the new version. A good pick if her debut feature Honeymoon is anything to go by. The original film's producer Doug Wick, probably motivated by the thought of working with witches in high school uniforms once more, is also set to return in the same role. The project seems to be in good hands then, and should be expected to tell roughly the same story as its predecessor, seeing a coven of witches integrate a new member into their number before falling out in a finale packed with equal amounts of witching and bitching. Number 6. The Orphanage. I love The Orphanage. It's a great psychological horror film that can be analysed in many different ways and gives me an official dose of the heebie-jeebies. The original Spanish feature produced by Guillermo del Toro and directed by J.A. Bayona saw spooky goings-on in a recently reopened orphanage with a dark past. Its creepy visuals, fairy tale story and haunting atmosphere made it a huge success, and now because people hate to read, we're getting an English version of the film. New Line booked it in for a remake all the way back in 2008, with Amy Adams set to star. Clearly that didn't happen, but one suspects that it's still on the cards. Studio hates to let a good idea just be, and The Orphanage, after all, is one of the best. Number 5. Videodrome.
It will shatter your reality. Videodrome.
David Cronenberg's Videodrome is a film very much of its time, telling the tale of a bored TV executive desperately seeking lurid new entertainment to satisfy his dirtbag viewers. Not content with watching the latest round of social dregs in Big Brother, Max, played by James Wood, stumbles across the literal torture porn show Videodrome, and like all of us in that situation, knows he's struck gold. Add to this a metric shedload of body horror and you've got a film drenched in sleaze and detachable limbs. Good times. To make it work, the story would need updating for our modern age, no doubt taking in such new additions to the TV sphere as YouTube, Netflix, and other forms of online streaming. To do that without coming across as silly or cringe-inducing will take a skillful touch. Unfortunately, Transformers Dark of the Moon scribe Aaron Kruger is set to write the thing, so it'll probably be about as delicate as having your eyes removed with spoons. Number 4. Cujo. The second Stephen King film on this list, Cujo is one of the author's more harrowing works, both on the page and screen. Where many previous adaptations could do with a good refresh, this is one of the few that still holds up. A traumatic tale of a good dog gone bad, viciously trying to tear to bits a mother and her son. Where the original film was a fairly close adaptation of the book, this one is reported to be straying pretty far away from the source material, allegedly renaming itself C.U.J.O. and taking on a more of a Jurassic World vibe. No, really. The acronym is said to stand for Canine Unit Joint Operations, and will presumably have its cast terrorized by a militarized dog gone bad, which sounds equal parts awful and spectacular at the same time. Number 3. The Birds. File this one under remakes we're surprised they haven't done already. It's been on the cards for a while, but reports are that the remake of the Alfred Hitchcock classic has finally found itself a director in the form of Dutch director and human tongue twister Diederik von Rielgen. Apologies, I tried my best. Whether Naomi Watts is still involved as star remains to be seen. Yes, it's a stone cold classic and we'd rather they didn't bother, but at least it will look good while it's trampling all over cinematic gold. The really bad news is that Michael Bay, Brad Fuller and their cronies at Platinum Dunes are looking to produce. A dark, gritty and realistic version of The Birds it is then. Still, at least it's not B.I.R.D.S. Number 2. Don't Look Now. Nicholas Rowe's classic 1973 horror film is set for the remake treatment too, retelling the story of a grieving couple in Venice who keeps seeing their deceased daughter in brief snippets. Finally, after tracking her down, it's revealed to be a dwarf in a red raincoat. That famous plot twist, eh? There's more to it than that, but let's be honest, most of us only ever remember the dwarf. No talent has yet been attached nor a release date, but it's to be produced by Studio Canal in association with Andrew Rona and Alex Heineman. Don't Look Now, haha, more jokes, but Rona is best known for the likes of Dracula 2001 and Scary Movie, and has previously worked with Heineman on the Liam Neeson features Unknown and Non-Stop. Which means that best case scenario, we get a generic Liam Neeson thriller which stars the stoic Irishman as a grieving father beating up people in Venice before being murdered by a dwarf in a red raincoat. Well, when you put it like that. No, still no. Number 1. The Howling. We thought we'd gotten away with it when that rumoured An American Werewolf in London remake was finally abandoned years ago. But Hollywood, like Trump's obsession with his hair, just can't let it go, and our werewolf remake comes in the form of this new version of Joe Dante's The Howling. Granted, The Howling is far from the classic that John Landis's lycanthrope masterpiece was, but it's a cult favourite all the same. Imanji Entertainment have snapped up the rights to this creature feature and are currently in the early stages of production. It will be the first of many films from the fledgling production company, all said to be based on well-known properties. However things turn out for this iteration of The Howling, at least it can't be as bad as some of the other film sequels. The Howling 3 marsupials, anyone? Yeah, no, I thought not. And that's the end of our list. Got any other horror films barreling down the pipeline that you want us to know about? Well then creepily type them in the comments below. And if you want to send me spooky pictures of skeletons, then you can do so here. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, then like, share and subscribe. I'm Jules for WhatCulture.com and I'll see you soon.